Yusra have a mention?
Yes, Razak, now you guys are audible.
Yeah, great, great. I think
Hi
we have
everyone.
still 2 minutes to like to 10 participants have joined. So far there are 8 participants, 9. Hi Zoya,
Hello.
thank you so much for joining.
That's completely fine.
Yeah,
So can we start?
yeah. I think we should start with the introduction.
Okay.
Myself, Dr. Abdrazak. I am current Chevening scholar, pursuing my MSc in Public and Environmental Health Sciences from University of Birmingham. I am really grateful to our distinguished Chevening alumni who spared their valuable time and they're available here to respond the queries related to the Chevening interview. I would like to request Sahar Yamin to have her introduction.
Hi, good morning everybody in UK and good afternoon in Pakistan. So I'm Sahar and I'm a Chevening scholar from 2122 and very happy to be part of this panel where I see some of the senior Chevening scholar like Zoya and some of my fellows like Nida Wasim and some followers like Abdul Razak, Nori Saab. So I studied global public health and I did my MSc from University of Essex. And currently I'm working at Khan University. I'm associated with Center of Excellence in Women and Child Health and I'm really passionate about implementing public health and more narrowly, if I should say, I'm engaged in public health researches and service delivery. Thank you, everyone.
That's great. That's great. Over to you, Zoya.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Zoya Hassan. Glad to be part of this webinar and happy to help the shortlist interviewees right now. Okay, so I completed my master's in 2021 to 2022 in public health for development from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Currently, I'm working as a research specialist in pediatrics department, Khan University, and I'm involved in 2 projects. One is related to TB vaccine, and the second is Child Health and Mortality Prevention Surveillance Project, the famous CHAMPS. So happy to cater all the questions.
Thank you so much, Zoya. Over to you, Minad. Yeah.
Hi everyone. This is Minal Makul Malik. I'm joining from Pakistan. I'm from the Chevening cohort 2024 to 2025. I completed my master's in business analysis and strategic management from the University of Manchester. Happy to be a part of this panel.
Thank you so much, Minad. Over to you, Nida. Nida Wasim.
Hello, everyone. I am Nida Wasim. I'm a public health researcher, and I was awarded Chevening Scholarship back in 2022 for my master's in public health from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. And now I've been working at Khan University as a research specialist. And I'm happy to be here answering all the questions. And a huge congratulations for all the candidates who have been shortlisted. It's a big achievement. Thank you.
Great. Now we will move towards Yusra Mustafa.
Thank you so much, Razak. Hi, everyone. My name is Yusra Mustafa. I am from Lahore, and my cohort is same as of Minal, 2024 to 2025. So I did my bachelor's in electrical engineering, and after that, I had 5 years of work experience in Orange Line Metro. I worked in 3 of the different positions. Then I got the opportunity of the Chevening. I went on a scholarship to Newcastle University. My major was transportation engineering planning management, and during my masters I also got fully funded internship in Geneva as well. and now I am back to Pakistan. I am recently working on the project UK VRI funded. So it's a research assistant role I am doing, and meanwhile I am looking for the job as well. Yeah, thank you so much.
Great, great. Thank you so much. So far, the panel is like dominant by the public health specialist and the AKU alumni and AKU current the persons. So I think we should start with the questions. If you have any questions like towards the participants, then raise your questions, or you can simply type the questions so then that we can take your questions directly. Hi, Ira Khan.
Hi.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you so much, guys, for doing this session. It's really, really helpful. I've been attending all your previous sessions as well, and they've also
you.
been really helpful. My question was, how likely is it that we're gonna ask questions such as why should we choose you, or why do you deserve this over other candidates? And if we are asked such a question, how should we approach answering it? Like, should we emphasize our skills or how our plan aligns with the Chevening priority areas? Like, what should we elaborate on in this question?
Yeah. Anyone?
I'll begin.
Yeah.
Hey, Ira, I've had the chance to talk to Ira myself before,
Yes.
before this session as well. So yes, it's very likely they might ask you something like that, but they won't make it sound as intimidating as it might seem. Um, but generally, I think the way to approach such a question is to strike a balance between being very confident in your convictions, in your capabilities, and also not portraying it as though everybody else is somehow less qualified than you are. Right? What you really want to bank on while answering this question is your personal accomplishments, who you are as a person, and what drives you. Right? So being passionate about your own story goes a long way all throughout this interview. And I think the one way to answer this question efficiently and effectively would be to go back to your story, right? Go back to what has shaped you into the kind of individual you are today, right? And then use that as an inspiration to stage why you're here and what drives you and why you will be such a good fit for the Chevening community because of the work that you've done and what you're planning to do with it in the future. So yeah, I think that's how you approach this question.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. Thank you.
Yes, Ira, you are different from so many candidates. That's why they have selected you,
Mhm.
and you
Yes.
have to just repeat the things. And yeah, everyone is different by his or her own skills.
Yes.
The need
Thank
is
you.
that you have to show that how you are different, the way
Mm-hmm.
you are convincing them.
Okay.
Anyone, if I have any thoughts? Yes, Yusra.
अच्छा, इस क्वेश्चन को मैं अपने एक और वे आउट से एक्सप्लेन करना चाहूँगी कि जितने भी क्वेश्चन द शीवनिंग आस्क्ड ऑल द क्वेश्चन इन योर इंटरव्यू, सबका आपका आंसर जो है आपके एसेज में है। आपको जस्ट वो डिफरेंट तरीके से मोल्ड करके पूछ लेंगे, कर लेंगे। इसका आंसर आपके लीडरशिप क्वेश्चन में भी है कि आपने कौन से चैलेंजेस और इनिशिएटिव ऐसे लिए हैं, जिसकी वजह से आप स्पेशल हो, आपने उसके अंदर क्या ऐसा करके दिखाया है, जिससे आपको या किसी और नेटवर्क को फ़ायदा उठा है। फिर आप उसके अंदर इसके अंदर एक और भी चीज़ ऐड कर सकते हो जो आपकी नेटवर्किंग की है, कि ड्यूरिंग नेटवर्किंग आपने ये काम किए हैं और हाउ योर स्टाइल इज़ टू अप्रोच पीपल और टुवर्ड्स प्रॉब्लम। फिर आप उसके अंदर एक और चीज़ ऐड कर सकते हो कि मेरी स्टडीज़ तो ये है, इसके अंदर ये चीज़ें हैं, मैं करना चाहती हूँ और इसके अंदर ये ऐसे-ऐसे है। तो आप अपने करियर प्लान्स को, नेटवर्किंग को, लीडरशिप के एस्से को, इसको बहुत अच्छे से तरीके से बैलेंस करके आप इसको प्रेज़ेंट कर सकते हो। सारा इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर आपके एसेज़ में ही है। आप अपने एसेज़ को अच्छे तरीके से एक मर्तबा देख लो, उसके अंदर से आपको खुद ही मिल जाएँगे हर एक आंसर्स।
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nida or Zoya, if you want to add something on it.
Sure. I think I agree with what Yusra said. Uh, because Chevening is not an academic scholarship. Uh, it's more of a holistic scholarship that looks at you as a leader. So, आपको, I think you need to actually highlight your leadership skills.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership is a broad term. Don't just say that you were a leader here in that particular situation, but specifically quote the skills that you utilized. And also, I think it's a very good thing to keep in your mind that you should be aligning whatever you are saying with UK priorities. And one
Yeah.
important thing that I think is the core of everything is that you need to show the conviction that you are ready to give back to the society or whatever field you are working in. So you have to frame your answer in such a way that you are telling them your leadership skills as well as that you are really passionate about getting those skills and enhancing them
Mm-hmm.
by free and then coming back and giving back to the society in general, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Nida.
Yeah, I also agree with
Yeah.
all the other three fellows, what Nida said and Yusra said. I just want to add the same thing that you have to tell them how your skills and this degree that you are going to get from scholarship is going to make an impact in society.
Mm-hmm.
So, how your work, your skill, and whatever you achieve during this scholarship will create an impact, how different it is from others. So, you have to sell this in interview, basically.
Okay.
I hope your question is answered properly, Ira.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah. If anyone have any other question, otherwise I should, I think, start with the question bank, which I have already. But it will be good if anyone has other question that you can raise your hand. Okay, we will start with the question bank. I have already, like, there is a question, how to reply this question. Tell us about a leadership situation where your decision actually made the things worse. Or like, tell us about the leadership when you actually failed as a leader. Then how to reply this question? Any volunteer?
I would like to add. So for leadership question in which they are asking if any of our decision has given us something not
Mm.
up to the mark. So
Razak, am I
what
audible?
Yeah.
So basically, you have to be very honest with the panel. You have to tell them if we have made any wrong decision and that was not up to the mark. But you can connect it with the reflection that because of my this decision, I learned a lot of things and it was like a reflection for me. So you can tackle this question like this. Nah? I mean, you share your decision if you have made any wrong decision or if it was not up to the mark. Be honest with them, but connect it with the reflections that what have you learned from that decision.
Great, that makes sense. Like, we can accept our failure, but we have to justify and what learned lessons we have learned.
Yes.
That will add value. Yeah. Yes, Yusra.
अच्छा रज़ाक, इसके अंदर मेरी एक अपनी पर्सनल एग्जांपल
जी।
है जो मैंने यूज़ की थी और प्रिपेयर की थी कि इन केस अगर वो क्वेश्चन कोई ऐसा पूछते हैं इन विच दे आस्क यू व्हाट यू फेल्ड एज अ लीडर, तो इसके लिए मैंने यही एग्जांपल प्रिपेयर की थी कि मैं जब ऑपरेशन एंड मेंटेनेंस व्हेन आई वाज वर्किंग इन द ऑपरेशन एंड मेंटेनेंस इन द प्लानिंग डिपार्टमेंट, आई प्रपोज अ कंस्ट्रक्शन प्लान मैनेजमेंट ऑनलाइन डैशबोर्ड सिस्टम। तो ये एक क्विक रिव्यू था उनके लिए स्टैट्स और एनालिसिस पर्पस के लिए, जो उनका मैनुअल वर्क भी बहुत रिड्यूस कर देगा। लेकिन इस प्रपोजल को इनिशियली चाइनीज़ मैनेजमेंट ने रिजेक्ट कर दिया था, क्योंकि इसकी हाई मेंटेनेंस कॉस्ट बहुत ज़्यादा आ रही थी। और उसके लिए मैंने एक अलग से, जो मेरा अल्टरनेटिव प्लान था, कि अच्छा मैंने इनको प्रपोज़ल एक और सेंड किया कि हम इन हाउस बिल्डिंग करते हैं अपनी टीम, फिर हम यूनिवर्सिटी से कोलैबोरेट करेंगे, वहाँ के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, एज़ अ रिसर्च असाइनमेंट ये उनको काम दे देते हैं। कोई हमारी अपनी कंपनी में कुछ ऐसे पर्सन्स हैं जिनसे हम पूछ के, उनसे एक्सपर्टीज़ लेके उनकी भी चीज़ें ऐड कर सकते हैं, तो हम ये कर लेंगे। दो ये बहुत टाइम टेकिंग था, लेकिन 4 मंथ्स के बाद हमने इस पे काम कर लिया था और ये फिर प्रोसेस में था। तो इससे हमें ये सीखने को मिलता है कि यू शुड ऑलवेज़ हैव अ बैकअप प्लान, मैक्सिमम ऑप्शंस आपके पास होनी चाहिए। ये मेरी अपनी लर्निंग थी इस एग्ज़ाम्पल से। तो आप अगर एग्ज़ाम्पल वहाँ पे कोई कोट कर रहे हो जिसमें आप फेल हुए हो एज़ अ लीडर, तो एंड पे उसको आपने इस तरीके से कंक्लूड करना है कि उसका भी पॉज़िटिव इम्पैक्ट आपके नज़र आए एंड पर, और आपने उससे जो सीखा आप उसको भी कंक्लूड करके एक लाइन में उनको बता दो।
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
Razak Sahab, I would like to add to, I think Yusra has given a very excellent example how she has, come up with a plan and that was not being implemented somehow. So, and what Zoya also said, in addition to all of that, I would say maybe you can sometimes actually the result is not up to mark. Maybe your strategy was correct. Maybe the action you were taking was completely fine, but somehow you didn't get the result. So you can also quote such kind of example. Maybe sometime we run a drive and we bench. We like to make a target that we wanna have like 20,000 girls with this thing, or maybe flood affected, and you have not reached your goal, but somehow you contributed. Your plan was okay, you delivered, but you did not achieve your target. So such kind of example may also be quoted, and maybe you can also link it to your future aspiration. For example, when you have mentioned your short-term goal in your essay or long-term goal in your essay, this is something that actually you are not seeing happening, and you want it make it happen, and maybe you're getting this support of FCDO, getting higher education with great skills. You wanna equip with yourself, and you wanna come back with new plans of implementing that idea again. So this kind of things can be linked. That's my idea, because I didn't face such kind of question, and I'm really surprised to know that they're actually asking
yeah,
where your leadership failed you or your plan was not successful. So I'm like, it's I don't know if these kind of questions are being asked now
yeah.
onwards.
Yeah, because they have asked these similar type of questions. Like there is another question like uh, they are saying that in this position you are not working as a leader. So how you have written this that you worked as a leader? So I don't know why they are asking the questions like this. Like they are saying that you are not on the top position in this role, and you have written that you are the leader. So I don't think that being on the top position doesn't mean that you are not the leader. You can still influence the people, and when you are still like a subordinate, you can show your leadership skills in your own department, I think.
I
So
think,
I think one of the sorry, Nida,
sorry,
yes, please.
you can go on. No, no, complete.
Okay, so I'll just complete with a last comment. For example, sometimes we kind of make like implementation program or plan, and we implemented it to a small scale thing. For example, me as an individual or as a group with the support of group of people or with support of my organization, I like proved any implementation that is very effective, and I tried it
that government should take it up and it should be scaled at government level. But I couldn't make it possible because government adaptations and policy changes are very time taking, and so it's not possible to make it happen in like 1 year or 2 year. Maybe sometimes it takes a lot of other organization to come and join and come up with a lot of evidence and take lots of time. So maybe this kind of example can also be quoted where you proved an implementation which is very effective and you wanted it, that government adopted and scale it on policy level, but you couldn't do it. It didn't happen. So maybe this kind of example can be quoted when you may say that your leadership was failed or it was very challenging and you couldn't get what you desired.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
just wanted to add one thing. I think
Yeah.
this question itself is a reflection how well you know yourself. I think being a leader, you should be self-aware enough to know that you have failed in this situation. And this is the particular reason, I guess, the panel asks such questions. I personally didn't face any such question, but I think it can be a follow-up question to any situation. And I feel I think everyone covered it in their own way. And the perfect approach to answer such questions is to actually acknowledge that you failed and this was the situation. But more importantly, what you learned from that situation and how you planned to overcome such situations in future.
Thank you so much. Anyone, if anyone have question, please raise your hand.
And Razak, I would like
Yeah.
to suggest while you're moderating the session, you may ask the particular candidate who is asking this question.
Yeah.
They maybe, if they have somehow given such kind of hints in their essays, they
Yeah.
can share with us actual scenario, and maybe we will be more able to guide on that example, because
That
somehow
makes
they
sense,
need
really.
to answer in the scope of their already submitted applications.
Yeah. There is a question like most of the international students are getting these questions like currently the world is facing the global issues like peace. How you will pursue your career plan in this situation? They are saying, should we add a backup plan or what should we reply to them? Because there is an uncertainty everywhere right now. So how they are saying that how you will pursue your like
I think as someone who has had a background in international relations, I've studied about global conflicts in a lot of detail, far more detail than I would have liked, because the world suddenly seems a lot more bleak when you know a lot about it in detail. I think it's fair to say that we've had such a situation many a time before. It's not as though we're faced with a different reality today. Islamophobia, anti-immigrant sentiment. These are something. This is the kind of thing that has surfaced time and time again over a couple of years. It takes some time and then it resurfaces and then it dies down, and it's just a cyclical process that just keeps on happening. So, in an environment of a lot of uncertainty, I think it's not a bad idea to have a backup plan because it shows a lot of strategy on your end. It shows that you've thought it out and that you're somebody who's actually a go-getter, right? Who will not be deterred by uncertainties or things that generally aren't in their control. So that also speaks to how good of a leader you are, of how good of a initiative taker you are. So I think it's always good to have a backup plan in your head, but also to be confident in saying that this isn't anything new, right? This isn't the kind of challenge that our generation particularly hasn't faced before. I mean, we lived through a goddamn pandemic. I think we're pretty invincible at this point. So it's okay to have that confidence when you speak about your future plans and that specificity. As far as the uncertainty is concerned, I think we should feel very confident in maybe laying out a plan B, if not a plan C. So yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Nida, do you want to have something to add?
I think Minal or Minal, I'm sorry
Yeah,
if I'm saying your name wrong.
yeah,
It's
Covered it
Minal.
really well. Minal, okay. Minal covered it really well. And I think being strategic about your plan is one thing that shows your leadership skills as well. So you should have, especially in today's volatile situation, I know every new second we hear a new news. So it's important to have a backup plan, and there's no harm in saying that you're still pondering over it and you are trying to align your goals and your plans according to the changing situation.
yeah. Thank you so much,
So I think
Nida.
it should be there if they ask such questions.
Yeah. Anyone have any question? Please raise your hands or just type your questions. We will take your questions right away from the chat. By taking the advantage, I would like to request each of you to just give the tips, like other than the essay part, how we should behave in interview and what things we should do or we should not do, other than the essay part. Yeah, Tahira have a question. Yes, Tahira, please. Tahira Salim, please unmute your mic.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, Tahira, we do hear
Hello.
you.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, I had
Yes.
some technical issue.
Yeah.
While going through the website of Chevening, I was looking at the Chevening Alumni Program Fund. I was just curious that what areas does it address and how do they support their alumni by providing some financial assistance, and what are their priority areas, if any alumni can guide on it, please.
I think I can take this question because I recently applied for one of the funding opportunities. So every year, Chevening Alumni Fund, the Alliance actually, they announce these calls, and every year the priorities are different. They will give out a detailed plan of their priorities area and the kind of projects they're looking for. And you can apply if your area or field or interest align with them. So it's generally around these days, I think it's more focused around climate change, and there's so many others. But it's different every year. Usually it's more around the priorities that UK have, but every year they give out these calls that are focused on different areas, and that is quite diverse range, so that alumni from different fields can actually come and apply for these funding opportunities.
Thank you so much, Nida. Yes, I think we should take your tips about the interview. What will you say? Starting with Nida.
Sure. I think the most important thing I would just like to say to everyone that take a charge of your nerves. So the most important thing is that I think you need to stay calm. I know sab anxious ho jate hain. It's quite intimidating. But at the same time, somehow, whether, drinking a glass of water, doing some breathing exercise, or just praying, do it and take charge of your nerves, because that is one thing that will take you through the entire interview. And if something happens during the interview, kabhi hota hai ki we are not able to actually respond in the way that we planned, but that's fine. Don't get fixated on that and just move on to the next thing that you want to. Because because we do have this tendency as humans that, if something happens negatively, we tend to linger on that rather than just moving ahead. So I would say कि अगर कुछ ऐसा थोड़ा बहुत ऊपर नीचे होता है, just forget it for that one time and just move on to the next situation. I tell you from my own experience, I had a very bad start during my interview because my time slot was almost an hour ahead and I was not ready for my interview. But, the candidates who were before me, scheduled before me, they were having some technical glitch. So I got this call from Chevening office that we are taking you first. And even though I had my laptop ready, but I was still not ready. I had an hour. I thought, okay, I'll sit and be prepared. And I said, okay, I'll try connecting. And the same thing happened with me. I was not able to connect with my laptop, so I tried connecting with my cell phone. And I was a little bit anxious. But I think हो गया.
बस लास्ट
उसी लिंक से रिकनेक्ट हो रहा है, मैं उसी लिंक से वापस
उसी
आई
लिंक
हूँ। सेम लिंक। जी जी।
let's wait for the Nida, then we are just concluding the things.
And I think you have
Yeah,
some questions in the comment box. So I think we should also take those.
yeah, let me. Yeah, there is a question from Ira Khan, Sam. Since interview this year are happening online, are there things in particular that should be kept in mind to make sure that the lack of physical interaction doesn't negatively affect the interview? What would you say,
So do
sir?
you want me answer right now? Yeah, you see, I just connected my laptop and it somehow dropped and my video is not working anymore. So I kept my cell phone ready. So currently I'm connected with my cell phone. So first of all, you need to make sure, of course, that your devices are ready and you have good Wi-Fi connection. And the other thing is, like my interview was also online and I was not there physically. And I think it somehow was good opportunity to focus more on giving answer rather than the nervousness sometimes you experience in physical in-person meeting or interview. So just focus on yourself. What I did, I had a lot of notes kept in front of my eyes, right and left, a lot of things, but that all didn't work. So please don't do that because when you are giving answers, you should be speaking of your mind and heart. Just be yourself. Just don't think that you have to impress the panel by your body language or by your accent or by using quite fancy words in your language. So just forget about that because what matters, the your answer is the thing that matters there. So just speak with whatever commonly your the vocabulary you have your grip on. So just try to focus on giving answers and try to respond to the answers very finely connected what question have been asked to you. So just forget about the people who are on the screen. Just look into directly into your camera. Somehow, when you look into your camera, you are not directly making eye contact. In actual, you don't experience that you making eye contact with the person in front of the screen. So just look at the camera and uh, give your answers and to try to focus and just be yourself. If you are habitual of speaking when you are smiling or when you are serious, whatever the personality you are while you are speaking, just be yourself.
Exactly. I would like to add, like
That's what I can suggest.
mine interview was also online. The one advantage which I had, like I made my portfolio website, and as interview started, I just posted into the chat section, and they were checking and cross verifying. Yes, I have done these works. While in the physical interaction, you can't give them a link like that. So as I was responding, they were checking. Oh, okay, you have worked in NHS. They were. I was feeling that they were clicking on the links. So that's also a
Hmm.
positive thing.
Exactly. I would
Yeah.
say there are a lot of pros of an online interview. despite a lot of people feeling as though this might, be a setback for them because they don't have the option to be present in person in front of the interview panel. But generally, just to add on to everything that you guys have said so far, I think be it an online interview or not, one thing that will leave a very lasting impression is the questions you ask in the end. They will always open the floor for questions. Please don't hesitate. Ask two, three, four, however many questions they will allow, depending on the time crunch. But make sure that the questions that you're asking are insightful. Those are something that relates to either your future goals, your professional growth, or something that will actually force them to think as well, not something that they will just answer on a whimsy. And secondly, there's a psychological trick that is used a lot in interviews, which is to always put your interviewer in a headspace where they have to think of you as part of their team. So set the context in a way that they have to think of you as a achievement scholar, right? That they have to psychologically assume that you've already been granted the scholarship, and then they have to answer within that perspective, within that context, right? It helps a lot because my interview ended on a very good note. We were all laughing by the time I was leaving the room. And I think I was pretty confident leaving the room that, it went well. I wasn't confident that I was going to get it because, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. All the people who've been shortlisted at this point are extremely extraordinary in one way or the other. So don't feel, like it's a setback if you're not selected. It's just, it comes down, a lot of it comes down to numbers. So yeah, I would say please do ask questions, make them insightful, and ask specific questions to the relevant individual on the panel as well. Remember their designations, remember the question that you're asking, and remember that it has to be directed towards the individual who actually has any expertise in that area.
Yes. Nida, you have any thoughts
Sorry,
on it?
my connection broke, or I think meeting ended, something like that. Yeah, so I was just sharing my own experience that how my interview actually started. It uh, it was a very weird experience for me, but my interview actually began with a lot of laughters and smiles because the moment I connected on my cell, it fell down. And I started laughing, and with me, the entire panel started laughing. And they acknowledged that I mean, they have put me in a weird situation by getting me earlier than what I was expected. So suddenly I was at ease, and then the question and answer round began. One thing that I also wanted to say and emphasize that please ask really good questions, really thoughtful questions, depending on how much time there left. Please ask one or two questions, but don't go for generic questions. The panel instantly knows that these are the generic same questions. You can ask about anything, the kind of, events Chevening arranged for the scholars. You can ask anything about UK culture. You can ask about, like, for me, I asked two questions. And I was also very much, uh, worried about what is going to happen when I'm going to come back because I'm going to leave my job, So I asked one question about how they are going to help us, the alumni, once we have graduated and come back to our countries, that how they help the alumni to reintegrate into the system, what kind of, career support or job support, or is there any kind other kind of support? Because there are so many questions that you ask. Just have a good thought and ask very meaningful questions. And one important thing that I would like to say, please don't use technical knowledge, because the panel consists of people who are from very diverse backgrounds, various backgrounds. So they might not know if you are a clinician or you have a medical background or engineering background whatsoever. Please don't go use your technical terms. Keep it as simple as you can. You don't have to, if you're comfortable speaking very fancy words and language, so go ahead with that. There's no harm in that. But if you think that, it can actually be a little bit problematic for you and you are not able to deliver what you want to, in the right manner. Don't go for fancy words and language. Just keep it very simple. Be yourself, smile. For me, I don't like Zoom sessions. I had a Zoom interview. I'm more comfortable, contrary to your experiences, I'm more comfortable in-person interviews. For me, it's really hard to understand where to look after having years of experience of attending virtual meetings and sessions, but still, I find it really hard to attend these sessions. So I would say that maybe, if you don't feel comfortable enough in online sessions and you are going to have an interview online, so maybe you can practice where you want to look. Uh, don't memorize anything. I know a lot of people try this, but don't do this. Uh, Eventually, I guess nobody is able to deliver the way, even if they memorize something. You can have few pointers, but don't write it anywhere. Just keep it in your mind that these are the things that I might want to cover. And if any follow-up questions are being asked, so I might want to address those. And I believe that, the follow-up questions also depends on how well you answer the how of that particular situation. Mostly what happens is that the candidates are so fixated and so inclined to answer the what happened, what I did, but they don't go on to the detail of that how, which you cannot actually tell in those 500 or lesser word essay. So I think a good strategy that I often tell people who come to me for interview preparations is that try to answer that how as much as possible. And I believe that in that way, you will get lesser follow-up questions, which is the most intimidating part for any candidate, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nida. Yusra, do you have any thoughts on it? Or should we take another?
Yeah,
Yeah.
जी रज़ाक, one thing that really worked for me, मेरा इंटरव्यू भी in person था. I used to record my responses. I used to practice them by turning off my front camera. I used to record the timing by turning off my timer. कि ओ इंट्रो है, मैंने मिनिमम जो है मैक्सिमम जो है 1 मिनट के अंदर इसको ख़त्म करना है और मुझे ये चीज़ें अपने बारे में बतानी है जो मुझे लगता है मैं मिस नहीं कर सकती. एंड देन फॉर लीडरशिप लीडरशिप का मेरा रिस्पॉन्स 3 मिनट तक मैंने प्रिपेयर किया था. फिर इसके बाद नेटवर्किंग का भी 2 मिनट्स 30 सेकंड था और करियर प्लान्स का वो मेरा थोड़ा लंबा हो गया था 4 मिनट्स का. पर उसको मैंने इस तरीके से प्लान किया था कि मुझे हर एक क्वेश्चन के अंदर एक हुक लाइन थी मेरी, जो मैंने प्रिपेयर की हुई थी. उसके बाद मेरी एग्ज़ाम्पल थी, जो सबसे ज़्यादा अच्छी एग्ज़ाम्पल मुझे लगता था ना, जो बहुत ही इम्पैक्टफुल है, मैंने वो प्रिपेयर की हुई थी और उसके बैकअप पे 2-3 भी एग्ज़ाम्पल कर ली थी. तो अगर आप अपने इंटरव्यू के क्वेश्चंस जो आपको ऑब्वियसली सबको ही पता है कि एस्से के अंदर से ही क्वेश्चंस आने हैं और जो आपके माइंड में है, अच्छा ये भी हो सकता है पूछ लें, वो हो सकता है पूछ लें, तो उनको रिस्पॉन्सेज़ को आपके पास अपना टूल है, आप अपने फ्रंट कैमरा को ओपन करो, आप उसके अंदर प्रैक्टिस करो, आप उसके अंदर टाइम देखो. आप स्टैमर कर रहे हो कोई बात नहीं, अभी आपके पास टाइम है, आप उसको मैक्सिमम टाइम लें. मैंने जो अपने लिए एक टिप यूज़ की थी, मैं जो स्टैमर कर रही थी, आई एम सॉरी, आई एम स्टैमरिंग, आई एम वेरी नर्वस टुडे, कैन यू जस्ट गिव मी 10 सेकंड टू रिफ्रेज माय थॉट्स. फिर कभी-कभार ऐसे भी हो जाता है कि स्टार्ट में क्वेश्चन सुनना बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट होता है कि व्हाट दे आर आस्किंग यू. तो उसके अंदर आप अपने आप को इनफ टाइम दो अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए कि अच्छा पूछा क्या है, टू द पॉइंट रहना है, मुझे इसको ऐसे रिस्पॉन्स को करना है. अगर आपको टाइम बाय करना है तो आप वहाँ पे उनको बोल सकते हो, कैन यू रिपीट दिस क्वेश्चन और कैन यू रीफ्रेज इट. तो उससे आप कॉन्फिडेंट होते हो जब आपने पहले से ही सिनेरियो सारे प्लान किए होते हैं, टेस्ट किए होते हैं और आप उनको ग्रीटिंग्स से अच्छे तरीके से बुलाओ. आप उनको बोलो कि गुड मॉर्निंग, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द अपॉर्चुनिटी. हर एक क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं जब उनको थैंक यू कर दो और बस अच्छे तरीके से कॉन्फिडेंट रहो, क्योंकि अगर आपने ऐसे अपने खुद लिखे हुए हैं और आपको अपने पे पूरा बिलीव है, तो नो मैटर कोई भी सिचुएशन हो जाए, आपने अपने माइंड में डेफिनेटली कोई ना कोई प्लान रखा होगा कि मैंने इसको कैसे आंसर करना है. अपने एसेस को अच्छे से थॉरली स्टार्ट से लेके एंड तक रीड करो और उसके अंदर आपको पता लग जाएगा कहाँ पे लूप होल्स हैं, कहाँ पे कुछ चीज़ ऐसे पूछी जा सकती है. शिवनिंग का इंटरव्यू बहुत ही सिंपल होता है, 4 एसेस पर बेस्ड होता है, इससे आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट कहीं पे भी नहीं जाते. लेकिन मैं खुद इस सिचुएशन से गुज़र चुकी हूँ, तो हम बहुत ज़्यादा फेयरफुल होते हैं कि ओह! ये क्वेश्चन ना पूछ लें, वो ना पूछ लें, ऐसे ना पूछ लें. आपको अगर इस तरह के थॉट्स आते भी हैं, देन यू हैव टू गेट रेडी फॉर योर रिस्पॉन्सेस कि अच्छा मुझे उसको ऐसे करना है। एक डॉक्यूमेंट प्रिपेयर कर लो, उस पे पॉइंटर्स ऐड कर लो, उसमें हर एक एस्से की हेडिंग दे के आप उसको प्रैक्टिस करो। आप उसको जितना प्रैक्टिस करोगे, अच्छे करोगे, आपके रिस्पॉन्सेस कॉन्फिडेंट होंगे और आपकी मिस्टेक्स के कम चांसेस होंगे।
एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्टली युसरा। और यही चीजें हमने सीनियर से भी सीखी थी सर, या मैंने यही चीजें हमें सिखाई थी लास्ट ईयर, कि आपको कैसे रेस्पॉन्स करना है, रेस्पॉन्स टाइम कितना आपका होना चाहिए, लाइक दिस। और यही सारी चीजें हुई हैं। आई वुड से लाइक फॉर द डिस्कशन यू आर ऑन द ड्राइविंग सीट ऑलवेज, सो इट्स यू हु विल डिसाइड व्हाट टू डिस्कस। सो अगर आप वेग स्टेटमेंट्स ऐड करेंगे, कोई ऐसी चीज ऐड करेंगे, तो डिस्कशन पॉइंट वहां पे चला जाएगा। सो इट्स यू, आपने पूरा डिस्कशन आपके लीडरशिप, नेटवर्किंग एंड सराउंड दिस आपको करना है। यस
Dr. Razak, I just wanna second to Yusra. Like last Ramadan, we were at the Karachi Deputy High Commission where our Deputy Communications, Sneha Lala. So I asked her one of the tips that I maybe discuss in my sessions while mentoring others. So she said the most important thing is listening to the questions carefully. Most of the candidates, they actually don't pay attention to what we are asking and they try to give an answer, and obviously that doesn't make you successful in your interview. So Yusra has just rightly nailed it that if you want to gather your thought, just tell them. And if you haven't, understand the question very well, you may ask them to repeat it or rephrase it. So that's quite acceptable and completely fine behavior at the time, while risking your chance of just assuming the question and just responding it without complete understanding.
yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much. Nida, do you have
Yeah, I just
raised
wanted to
your
add one
hands?
thing. Yeah. So I'm not sure what's the pattern these days, but the year that I gave the interview, a confusion tha that they were not asking for formal introduction at the beginning of the interview. और अगर ऐसी सिचुएशन आती है तो आई जस्ट वांट टू ऐड दिस कि इवन इफ दे आर नॉट आस्किंग फॉर योर इंट्रोडक्शन, ask them the permission that maybe I would like to introduce myself first, and give a very brief. You don't have to go through your entire journey and careers. Give a very brief but very impactful short introduction about who you are as a person and maybe highlight your biggest achievements in that. And I think that is a very good starting point there. It gives a sense of confidence to you, and then it also reflects really good of to the panelists as well, so even if they're not asking for the introduction, ask the panelists that if they allow you, you want to quickly introduce yourself. But
Yes,
make sure that it has to be very brief. Don't go
yes.
into all the details.
Thank you so much. We have a question from Sana. Sana, you raised your hands. I think she has typed the question like, what if the government doesn't adopt your proposed plan? What should we reply? How we should reply? If our career plan is related to the implementation and the will by the government, but government is not adopting our proposed plan.
Okay, I think I can try answering this
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
So I believe this, are you asking, who asked this question? Sana?
Sana, yes.
Yeah,
Question
so
two.
I
Yeah.
don't know what's the premise of this question. Is it about the longer term goal or a specific initiative that you want to maybe take after your master's? So I believe that it's fine that if you are having some challenges along the way, you can address it by saying that you can actually get the feedback and try incorporating that feedback into your plan to make it better. Maybe getting feedback from experts or government official or whoever is involved. Different stakeholders must have been involved in that or will be involved in that project. So you can say that you can actually try and improving that and get the feedback and see what best can be done, and if your improved version is acceptable by the government, maybe try aligning it more with their own priorities or so. I don't know if it answers your question.
Yes, I think we can say like we are the Chevening scholars and Chevening alumni, and we have the networking skills, and we can convince the government, and by saying the like positive things of our project and how it will benefit in general to the whole population, like this, we can convince rather than saying
I would
like
like
if
to
it will be if we fail, I will go with another plan.
Yeah, maybe so showing some tangible impact that your
Yeah.
project will create.
Yes,
Razak Sahab, I would like to add, I'm sorry, I'm directly jumping in because I'm using mobile and I really don't
yes,
see
yes.
where are the reactions to raise my head. So I'm sorry with like directly jumping in the question. Sana, मेरा ये ख्याल है कि कुछ आंसर्स जो होते हैं वो आपको डिप्लोमेटिकली भी मैनेज करने होते हैं. समटाइम्स ऐसा होता है कि जो हमारे शॉर्ट टर्म प्लान्स होते हैं, दे आर वेरी स्पेसिफिक. For example, you can tell them when you will be coming back to the country, you will immediately join the sector. You can't say I will join Ahan University, or you can't say I will join planning and development department of the government. I'll be part of government. I'll be at the government position to work on this issue, or I'll change the policy. So you don't have to be very specific. You need to share your passion. That when you come back, you wanna work for like education of the girls, and you wanna work on primary education maybe, and how you will do it. You can say you have like you have been working in the sector in Pakistan, so you would like to collaborate with development organization and private organization. You will persuade people to come to develop a platform, or digital platform is one of the parts. So this is the example that where you are showing that somehow your plan is in your control and you will be able to deliver it. आपको अपना शॉर्ट टर्म एंड लॉन्ग टर्म प्लान वो इस तरह का देना है कि जो कि आपके कंट्रोल में हो और आप उसको डिलीवर कर सके. दैट्स नॉट डिपेंडेंट ऑन अदर पार्टी कि मैं वापस आऊंगी तो मेरी जो है एक बड़ी मैं गवर्नमेंट का पार्ट बन जाऊंगी ताकि मैं लार्ज स्केल पे अपने गोल को जो है वो इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकूं. So your answer should be diplomatically managed, and those should be like wide open enough ताकि आप इस तरह की वहां पे कमिटमेंट ना डिलीवर कर रहे हो जो एक्चुअली आप you don't have control over it.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Minal, you have to add something on it.
I think everybody has pretty much covered everything that needed to be said. But again, the most important aspect of all of it, the crux would be to just remain authentic. There can be a lot of self-reflection involved in the way that you answer certain critical questions, which is something that we're seeing more and more now as the panel becomes younger and more hip and more, I think, relatable. I think they're asking more critical questions, things that require you to go in a lot more depth. So don't shy away from giving the kind of details that will make your case stronger and help you look like a more optimistic person, or somebody who always takes away something positive from a situation that might be going south for you. So if in any case there is any mention of a failure, any mention of a setback, anything, and any occasion or instance where your plan hasn't worked out, just always try to spin it in an optimistic manner, in a way that makes you look like, again, an initiative taker. This isn't something that will phase you. This is just something that has given you another new learning curve. to be able to improve and come back stronger in a way. So I think, yeah, that's all I want to add on.
Thank you so much, Meenal. We have another question. How do you maintain a network or relationship? How do you sustain that relationship?
Um, I think for me, for example, anytime the interviewers would ask anything remotely related to networking or building connections, my immediate thought was to always be able to first explain how that connection was made, and then also to, you know, develop or establish how that relationship was sustained over the years. And one way to do that is obviously to show how you manage to collaborate it with that same individual or that same organization or institution on multiple projects over the years. Or in one way or the other, you have gone back to that one particular connection for, let's say, mentorship. Or let's say just you've been following their work and that has inspired you to start a new project. There are a lot of ways in which connections and networks are, sustained over time. And obviously, this is extremely important for the interview panel to understand because, like I always say, the Chevening community is something that the Chevening Secretariat champions like anything, right? It is the most important thing to them. And if you're able to anchor your answer in a way that allows them to see how you will fit into the evening community later on by means of your networking capabilities, that's, your gold, basically, if you're able to establish that. And so, anytime you're answering a question about networking, make sure that you always hint upon what you're planning to do with the evening community as well, within the evening community as well. So yeah, sustain करना बहुत से तरीके से आप sustain करते हैं. Think of it, brainstorm it, because that is also going to reflect a little bit of your future plans as well, as to how you're planning to do that in the future. So maybe use the name of a supervisor that you've worked with or a team that you've worked with previously and how you're planning to, make use of their expertise in the future. So one great example of how this is being done is this online session itself, right? So Razak has been able to, pull people from different cohorts, brought them together on one platform just to be able to, talk about things that matters to like hundreds of people right now. So, there's a lot of ways that that can be done. It's just a matter of, pinning it down on a piece of paper and remembering how to be able to narrate it um, in the interview. Yeah.
Yes, I would like to add one thing. Like in networking, most of the candidates I have observed that they are talking about their vertical networking. They are always talking like I'm belonging to the health department. I'm always saying that I will build the relationship with my DHO, with my medical superintendent. But networking is not like only about the vertical networking. That should be the horizontal. And Chevening love the horizontal networking. You should have relationship. If you are belonging to the health department, you should have relationship with the law, with you should have relationship with the education department, social sector, and every sector. So whenever you are talking about their networking, you should talk about your horizontal networking. And I would add one thing, like for sustaining the relationship, you should mention that you will add value to that relationship, because for every relationship, if you want to maintain that relationship, you are always adding value to that relationship. Like on the LinkedIn or something, if we are connected, we always see the people how they are contributing on networking, then we are accepting the connection request or we are sending the connection request. That is the same thing, that for sustaining we always look that what value I can get or what value I can provide to that person. So that's my thought. If anyone has like to add something.
Dr. Razak, I think it also depends on what example you have coded in your application.
Yeah.
So if your networking examples are limited to connections within your organization, or like you have given the example, if someone being in the health sector, he might have discussed about the networking with DHOs and DG Health and all in, within the organization, you call it vertical manner. And maybe in networking example, if someone has quoted cross-sectoral relationships, for example, someone is associate, has worked on a project where he had the license with like education department, water and sanitation department, development sector, private organizations. So he should focus, he should prepare his or her response in that context. So just remember what you have written in your networking application, and because they would be asking the question what is arising from your application or what is based on your response at the moment. So if you have talked about a lot of connections across the sectors or vertically, obviously their question may be related in that context. So you just remember what context you should keep in mind while you are responding. So there could be like different strategies to maintain the relationship when you are talking about cross-sector relationships, and there could be different strategies where you are talking about your relationships within the organization. So that also depend on that. And while I quoted my example that was about cross-sectoral relationships, so there could be a lot of things when like conferences or participating in the sessions, mentoring the people, or just coming back to the Pakistan or having attending the public events. So that could be a lot of approaches that you can quote according to whatever you have already said in your application. That's what I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nidar, do you want to add
Sure.
something? Yeah.
For networking, my take on approaching networking is always that it has to be a mutual benefit when it comes to networking, and you have to convey that through your example or whatever you are saying. So you cannot just tell them that, okay, I got this benefit out of my network. It doesn't, I think, as a leader and as a Chevening scholar or as a human, I think it can be, but I think, in my opinion, it always have to be mutually beneficial. So you tell them that, okay, because of my network, I was able to do some things for me, say, I don't even actually remember what example I gave accurately, but I think I possibly quoted this example where I was able to arrange an event, and because of my network, I was able to get a lot of people on board with me, similarly to what you are doing now. So a very good way of telling them how you're going to sustain your network, and like a very important thing I would like to quote here, that you will never get an opportunity like Chevening to actually build your network. I'm telling you from my own experience. It's not just about your own field. I work in public health, in healthcare sector, but the kind of network I was able to develop in UK, has helped me not just in my own field, but now when I think of initiating maybe a project where I need a lot of intersectoral collaborations. I have so many connections which I was able to sustain, and one good way of sustaining those connections and network is always to take them on a personal level and staying in touch. A very good way of sort of solidify your example is by quoting Chevening Alumni Alliance in your response, that you want to be a very active part of the Chevening Alumni Alliance, which is a global network of Chevening alumni. And they often, introduce so many different opportunities. They arrange events where you can actually meet different people and attend different sessions. Very good example is also to come back and be very active in your own country's Chevening alumni groups. And one good example is also that I actually quoted this in my networking essay, that I will come back and I will actually help the aspiring candidates to mentor them for Chevening essays and help them in, improving their essays. So you can quote all these examples, but at the same time, I'm not like, specifically talking about the interview, but in general, you should take this if you get the opportunity to go on Chevening scholarship. I emphasize, please use this opportunity and reflect that in your answers as well, that how much this can add value to your own career path, and as well as the kind of opportunities that you will get there will also help you create the impact in your own fields.
Thank you so much, Nida. Yusra, do you want to add something on it? Yusra, are you available with us? Yeah,
Gee, thank you, Razak. No, nothing from my side.
yeah. I think we have 4 minutes to go. So thank you so much, everyone. And I would like to
Razak, I think
have,
you get a question in the chat box if you can
yeah,
look at it before you end.
yeah. Yeah, we have a question from Sohalia. Any idea how can the Chevening Alumni Alliance help me in working in the energy sector?
I think you can actually get connected to so many other people who are working in your same sector, and you can discuss different opportunities that arise and also collaborate on some project that you maybe are thinking of to initiate in future. Then there are a lot of opportunities that Alumni Alliance introduced. These days, I think I recently saw an entrepreneurship group that was created by Chevening Alumni Alliance. So I think it depends how best you want to utilize it. But there are so many opportunities. It's just that you have to get in touch with the relevant people, and also keep an eye if something that is very relevant to energy sector uh, comes up on the platform. You can keep an eye on the platform, the Chevening Alumni website, and see if there is any specific call or any specific opportunity. But I think just try to get in touch with people who are working in the same sector and discuss.
Yeah, we have another question. Seher, can you please respond on that? We have only 3 minutes. In my leadership example, I have mentioned that I assigned the task according to the team members' based capabilities. Somehow I failed to answer how I did this. Any tips?
I think when you are talking about your leadership, you are talking about your successful examples in your application. So I'm confused at the question who has
Yeah.
asked this, that he assigned to the people and he got failed. So if you're talking about the challenges of a moment when you were supposed to show your leadership skill and you wanted to achieve it, and somehow it became challenging, then I can respond to the question. Razak, is it like the question? I
Yeah,
really can't get what
yes,
is about.
still it's like unclear. I think she mentions that in her application she somehow failed to answer that question. But in interview, I think you have the freedom to express how you allocated the assigned task to your
I
team
think you
members.
are shortlisted candidate.
Yeah,
So I
she's
think,
Charles. Yeah,
yeah, so you must be having a lot of good example of leadership, and maybe you have mentioned one example where it became challenging and you were not successful. So I think we have talked about the session where the situation became challenging and you didn't get your results. So if Razak Saab is gonna share the recording accessible to these candidates who are
yeah.
preparing for the interview, that will be the session recording will be very helpful for you. You can, if you have already mentioned in your application, and if they ask you about a challenging moment, you should be very honest. Tell them about this failure event, and as Nida said, you need to mention that you should be well aware of your own qualities. So maybe you can mention where you realize where was the lacking in your leadership, that and that's why you couldn't get your results. So being honest would be nice.
Thank you so much, Sahar, and thank you so much, everyone. I think we have only 30 seconds to go. So thank you so much. It was supposed to be one session, but thank you so much that you spare your time for two sessions. And I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
everyone.
Razak, for these
Thank you so much.
wonderful efforts,
Bye.
and thank you
Thank you
taking
for
me on
having
board.
us.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for
Allah
having
Hafiz,
us.
Have a,
everyone.
Your
have a good
effort.
day. Bye bye.
Bye.